Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 168 of NerdPod Generations. As always, I am one of your illustrious hosts, Steve Taylor, along with the always lovely Alfred Judson. Hello, sir.
Hello, friends.
I did remember your name. It's been a day.
Dude, I get it. Yeah. I fucking get it. It's been one of those weeks.
It's been been an adult week.
Yes.
Not in like the pornography sense.
No.
I mean in like I felt like an actual adult. I don't know if I liked it.
I have to be responsible.
Yeah,
I have to make responsible decisions when I really don't want to.
I just wanted... I'm not ready to be... I know I'm turning 50 next year, but I'm not ready to be an adult yet.
I don't know what I want to do when I grow up.
I don't either.
I haven't decided.
I want to be retired when I grow up.
That's what I want.
Wealthy and retired.
Wealthy and retired. We just had... me and my buddy went down to the Finger Lakes Mall.
Oh, nice.
Which is in Auburn. So it's like an hour drive south of here. But it's great. It has some great toy shops. And by toy shops, I mean basically just collector's paradises of just like really old shit. And
that's
like,
awesome.
It's like walking into an eBay shop. In some cases, literally. We were discussing on the way down how it's impossible to get anywhere on stocks because we're not rich enough.
Yeah.
And it's, it's one of those things where we are finding, even as we try and get into the upper class camp, all those guardrails, all those baby don't guardrails that are there to help and keep us safe, it turns out are there to keep us from using the stove fucking at all.
Yep.
So,
isn't that great?
But that's a whole other thing.
We're not going to get as deep as we were last week.
God, no. This is not as special an episode. This is still a special episode, but it's not a very special episode.
Exactly. Thank you so much for that. So, folks, 168 means there are 167 previous episodes of Pure Gold, so please go back, listen to our back catalog, including the very special episode from last week, which I've gotten some positive reviews on, and I hope everyone has enjoyed a little bit of a deeper dive into our psyche when it comes to things like politics and religion, because we really don't speak about those things ever.
No, and as we said last week, it was time to break that vow.
Yes.
The way that I loved us phrasing it was, we want to stay in our lane. You're forcing us out of our lane.
Exactly.
And so, like a detour in traffic...
We're in the right lane in cruise control.
Yeah.
And we're coming up on somebody going 20 miles an hour less than us, and we have to move into the other
Something
lane.
has to happen.
We have to.
There's no
for our own
choice.
Sanity.
Yeah.
But anyways, go to nerdpodgen.com, which is our website. There is a link to the most recent episode right on the main page. And then there are also links to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and then each of us has our own separate page with different links to separate things that we do on our own. Because we don't do everything together.
No, we got projects.
We got things. I haven't worked on any projects
I was about to say,
years.
I like to pretend like I have projects.
Yes.
My projects don't make it to the internet most of the time.
I think I have 3 that are non-started.
Yeah.
3 that are started but not finished.
I have a bunch that are bopping around
and
constantly like being, shook on the stove of like, oh, is this done? Is this done? And I still haven't added all the ingredients yet, so it can't be done.
Yeah, you need a little bit of oil in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyways, folks, we do like to start each episode with what have we been watching, playing, reading. I am going to start tonight because the lovely Kelly is going to be joining us in a minute to do the side with Al about what they've been watching and a game she has been playing. I wanted to do a quick shout out to Cheech and Chong's last movie.
How was that?
Awesome.
Yeah?
So it's not a movie. It's pretty much a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
The two of them are driving in a car, literally in the desert, now, and they're just having this banter back and forth. And then what's cool is throughout the drive, they're picking up certain people off the side of the road that were from their life.
Oh.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much just shows you how they came to be and their successes, their fallout, the whole thing. And it's awesome.
Comedians in cars smoking weed.
Yeah. It's so great.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed it. And it's insane knowing that Tommy Chong is almost 90.
That's crazy.
He looks spectacular.
Yeah.
And one thing that I never knew about Cheech and Chong, everyone's, oh, they're big potheads. they were massive physical fitness nuts.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah. Like crazy. That's all they would do when they weren't making movies or doing comedy is they would do sports or lift weights and exercise.
No kidding.
So they were incredibly fit.
Yeah.
And I think that is why they're in such good shape now.
Absolutely it is. Yeah, that's what me and everybody else forgets is that you got to make those gains now because you can't make them later.
And it's...
Unless you're Jack Palance.
It's getting tough, man.
Yeah.
Well, even him, he was jacked since an early age. So.
Yeah, exactly.
The big thing I wanted to talk about is I rewatched a movie that when the first time I saw it, I thought it was trash. So I wanted to rewatch the 2019 Hellboy.
The David Harbour.
I had an epiphany while watching the movie. I actually think it's an outstanding movie.
Oh, yeah?
I think it's very good as far as him as Hellboy. The costumes, some of the sets, the gore. I like that it's R-rated and you get the gore, you get the swearing, you get all that fun stuff. Ian McShane as Professor Broom. I love Ian McShane.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it was good casting. He was fine.
It's a different flavor than John Hurt.
Yeah, and I think the tenor of John Hurt fits that character better.
It's more fatherly.
Yes.
This is like stepfatherly.
That's a great analogy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly how it was. He was a little too harsh, and I didn't really buy the whole, like, you're my son and I love you thing. I realized why this movie, I hated it the first time, and why I thought it wasn't great. Mila Djokovic.
Yeah, I kind of suspected that it was going to be her-shaped.
The first time I saw her on screen, I was like, right away, this movie went from something I was enjoying to like a B movie.
Yeah, okay. So I feel bad because I don't have anything against.
I know I have nothing against her. She's just,
but like every time she shows up in anything, this happens.
Yeah,
it's the instant, almost involuntary reaction of the audience.
Yes,
they see her and they're like, "Oh, this is going to be Resident Evil. This is going to be Monster Hunter. This is going to be Blood Rain. This is going to be a fucking shit show."
Yeah,
and we forget that everybody knows Leeloo Dallas, all of those. But, like, I don't know. It's like Chaplin and fucking Fifth Element. And if I look through Mila Jovovich's IMDb, it's very hard to find a consistent line of good stuff.
And I know she's done things that she was good in, like the aforementioned Fifth Element. You're watching this, and I thought back to Monster Hunter and the Resident Evil movies and some of the more recent ones she's done. She's not a good actor.
No.
Like, she's in the Gal Gadot category to where you're like, you put her in the perfect ideal situation, she can do it.
She could have played the role Lena Headey plays in Dredd. That's a role that she can do.
See, I don't even know, though, because this is kind of that role to an extent.
Yeah.
Where she's just this, like, big bad. But as she's talking, you're like, I don't like anything that I'm hearing. Like, it's... And once again, like you said, I have nothing against her. I loved her in The Fifth Element. You know, it was a role where she just spoke gibberish pretty much the whole time, so I guess that helps with that.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm watching it... And every scene she's in just dropped the movie's quality down.
Well, it's another, like, again, going back to Gal Gadot, it's the problem of, and I don't want to paint with a broad spectrum here, so I'm not going to, but, like, you can tell, it's kind of like when a musical artist tries to become an actor and they're not a good enough actor to be an actor, but they're a good musical artist, and you're just like, just stay to the one thing. Gal Gadot, Mila Jovovich, I'm like, you can tell these people started as models and then tried to branch into another place, and they just don't have the chops to always do that. Under very specific circumstances, yes. But more times than not, you have to have basically a role written for them in order for it to be decent.
Yeah.
And, I feel bad, but I go back to, like, did you ever see Fourth Kind?
Yes.
Another movie where you're just like, I want to like this movie, and I just can't, and it's because of her and her performance.
Yes.
And I wish it wasn't, and I wish I could just point to, like, oh, it's the director's fault. Whenever the actor is bad, it's the director. But, like, the other actors in this aren't doing bad, so I don't know. I don't know what to say.
And, like, I look at... So, she plays an evil witch. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, all right, let me think of other evil witches that I could hold her up against. And the one that jumped out to me was Michelle Pfeiffer in Stardust.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, okay, here's a beautiful... Mila Joe, beautiful woman. Michelle Pfeiffer, beautiful woman. Michelle Pfeiffer could sell the dark side.
The malevolence.
The dirty, violent old witch is pretty much what, it's like, yes, she's Michelle Pfeiffer, but deep down she's this hideous creature.
Yeah.
This role was the same for Mila, and you're watching it like, I don't buy that she's this ancient, bloodthirsty witch who's looking to just destroy humanity.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it at all.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, I couldn't tell what the main problem is, if it was her acting, if she just doesn't have that presence that you need in this part, you know what I mean? Like, she obviously was thrown into these movies with her husband when they did the Resident Evil and then the Monster Hunter one.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, you're doing action, which totally by the action, you don't necessarily need to act. Mm-hmm. It's fucking Resident Evil. Like, especially the way they did Resident Evil. If it was done properly, maybe you would need somebody that can act. It was a video game. You didn't need somebody that necessarily needed to, like, act or shoes off.
It was a video game in the early 2000s when making a video game movie was essentially just like, it was a non-pantomime cash grab.
Yeah.
There wasn't really any joking around about, like, oh, look over here. It was like, you're watching this movie and you're like, man, this sucks. And if anybody liked the game, I hope they didn't see it because this is terrible.
No, I agree.
I look at the cast and, like, I don't want to come down hard on this cast. But, like, you look at a cast and it's fucking Michelle Rodriguez, Mila Jovovich, and Ali Larter, and that's your cast.
Yeah.
Those are, again, I'm not trying to come down hard on anybody, but those are three people that can only play themselves.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong there.
It's like Red with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
It's three people that can only play themselves. And so it's really going to be dependent on that.
Yes.
And in the case of Resident Evil, that is not enough to go on.
No.
For a story that, like, every time I watch someone play a Resident Evil game, I'm like, oh, that's why it's popular. And then I see clips from a Resident Evil movie, even the more recent one from Netflix, and it's like, man, this is... You just always miss the point.
Because they think... And this is the whole issue I had. I know this is our tangent, which I love. Resident Evil, for those of you who are unaware, was originally written by... The movie script was written by George Romero, the godfather of zombies. And they decided to go in a different direction, which to say to the guy that created the zombies that you're put in your game, and you're saying, nah, we're going to go some different way. Those movies were a video game.
Yeah.
Which it's like, you don't need it to be a video game, you need it to be a movie.
You need to enhance it from its
exactly
existing state.
Exactly.
Because if you wanted it in its existing state, then play the fucking game.
And that's the thing, is even the games were more atmospheric than the movies were. And you're like, dude, can't you just slow it down and have a creepy...
Well, like, that's the thing about W.S. Anderson. W.S. Anderson. He can't. He doesn't know how to.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. He doesn't have that in his arsenal. It's just get it done, get it done, get it done. He's a B-grade Ridley Scott.
Yeah,
with
pretty much.
None of the ability to create an atmosphere or a feeling. You know, you look at Blade Runner. It's like... Paul W.S. Anderson could never come up with anything like Blade Runner.
No.
I've seen what he's capable of.
Yeah.
It is not this.
Well, he's done one movie that I would consider great, and that is Event Horizon. That movie is A+ in my book. It is a fantastic horror movie. And then for some reason, I don't know if it's his ego or what, he just went right downhill after that.
Well, it's a lot easier when you have fucking Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne.
That is true.
Because those are the two elements of Event Horizon that I remember most. Is Sam Neill getting possessed and going crazy, and Lawrence Fishburne trying to keep everybody together.
But like what was so good about that movie compared to his other ones is it was it was a slower pace. It was slower burn.
Yeah.
In a lot of these
very much so.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
And now, mind you, this movie is this 2019 Hellboy was directed by Neil Marshall, who did The Descent and Centurion, which is a fucking spectacular movie. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Is that the one with Channing Tatum?
No, Centurion is a sword and sorcery movie with Michael Fassbender.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Dude, fucking awesome movie.
Yes.
And so he's made great movies, and this is, like I said, it is an enjoyable, good movie. But for those little parts, and this just proves if you don't have a good antagonist to go with your protagonist, because David Harbour, I feel bad because this movie got lambasted so much, and I think he was a legit, not a step up, but a legit pass the torch from Ron Perlman to him.
Yeah.
And it's like, I enjoyed him as Hellboy. He had the humor. He had the physicality. Like, I did enjoy the one that came out a couple years, was it last year, The Crooked Man?
Yeah.
That one was a super low budget, and it had a different...
It was almost so low budget that it was shocking to see Hellboy in it.
Yeah.
You were like, so this is a Hellboy movie, though? I want to make sure, because this looks like... one of A24's special $500,000 budget. We're just going to shoot it in the woods over a weekend kind of thing. Man,
shockingly good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I was very surprised by how good that was.
I will say the thing that holds me back on Crooked Man is the Hellboy costume and makeup. I think it's, in terms of a step in any direction, I would say it's a step down compared to the previous two iterations.
That is obvious just because of the budget.
Because of the budget.
Yeah.
No, and that's 100% the thing.
But I'll tell you what, though. It holds up in action in the movie better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Because I thought the same thing when I saw the trailer for the first time. But then after watching the movie, I'm like, okay, the actor doesn't have... I don't have his name right now either. He doesn't have the charisma that I think you need to play Hellboy, especially coming off of Ron Perlman and David Harbour.
Yeah.
And that's why I wish this movie would have been successful, because I would have loved to have seen Harbour do another couple of them.
Yeah.
But unfortunately it bombed. A lot of it got just lambasted because of the effects, which, I mean, you can give and take. It's not the greatest special effects I've ever seen, but it wasn't a high budget movie. It was probably, I think it's mid-50s million budget.
Well, and it sounds like, because cards on the table, I haven't seen the 2019 Hellboy. I'm going to now after this conversation because I am genuinely intrigued. I've also been meaning to go back and watch Frankenstein's Monster Frankenstein. Do you know this?
No.
It's almost like it's a David Harbour project. I don't know if he directed it. I think he did. And it's just almost like a variety show where the host is Frankenstein's monster played by David Harbour. And it's him trying to put on this thing, and he starts running into the same problems that Frankenstein had as a creator. And so it's Frankenstein's monster Frankenstein. It's really, I remember being very silly and stupid, and I desperately want to go back and rewatch it now. But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
I love David Harbour enough that I want to see Hellboy. And I feel like it does, from this review, it sounds like an issue of turning left when you need to turn right.
Yes.
And so it's like, we're going to...
you'll watch it, and I wanted to shout out Jack Kesey is the guy that played Hellboy in Crooked Man. And I had to look up his past films. He was Black Tom in Deadpool 2.
Okay.
So I remember him from that prison scene where he's...
Yeah.
You'll see this when you're watching the movie. The thing that frustrates me is it has a very Del Toro feel to it, because some of the costumes and set designs fit that kind of feel. Like, there's a great interaction between Hellboy and Baba Yaga, which is awesome. And and you could tell the Baba Yaga, it's some CGI mixed with practical effects, and the costume is awesome, and the makeup is really creepy and great. And it's got a lot of those set pieces, which are like, it's fucking really good. Like, in the beginning, he's going after... It's probably one of the shakier CGIs, kind of remind me a little of Van Helsing. But he's going after an agent who was sent down to finds the vampires. And, well, the agent, of course, is.
Yeah.
And he turns into, like, it almost looks like Dracula at the end of Van Helsing. So right there, I'm just warning you, it's not 100% the greatest special effect.
It's not perfect.
But it's still fun. Like, you're watching it like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It sounds like, again, this is just from a cursory outside perspective, but it sounds like one of those situations where what makes the Del Toro Hellboy movies great is that they are practical with some CGI where they can't use practical. And the way that this Hellboy always looked was CGI with occasional practical to try and emulate that feeling. But we were more concerned with, let's make it with CGI, and then the pieces that we can make practically we will, instead of the other way around of like, we're going to make the whole thing practically, and anything we can't make practically, we're going to do CGI for.
So, like the Del Toro, so let's say the Golden Army. Mm-hmm. I would say that was probably 75-25, 75 practical, 25.
Yeah.
This is more 50-50.
Yeah.
Maybe 60-40 digital. So it's got enough practical effects that you can be like, okay, I appreciate that they did that practically.
Yeah.
But then, there's a couple computer where you're like, okay, I think they needed to do that because of budgetary reasons.
Yeah.
But anyway, I recommend it for anyone who hasn't seen it. And once again, understand you're going to be let down by the antagonist in this film.
It's not an A+ film.
No. They could have... I would have preferred them to put a no-name.
Yeah.
And even... I know this is going to sound ageism, and I did not mean it like that. I would have loved to have seen, like... Because this witch is supposed to be a witch who's been alive forever. Yeah. Maybe late teens. Mm-hmm. Just something creepy to me when you see a younger person playing like an old evil. That just... Something about that.
Well, and like that plays into the malevolence of this witch.
Yes.
Is like, that's always that first thing that you think is when you see someone going back to Stardust and you see someone for who they are in terms of their actual age, and then you see what they have to do to become younger.
I agree.
And what they're willing to do to become younger.
And I'll be honest, I wish they would have gone maybe a little less attractive. You know, it's like you don't need... It's a movie filled with ugly creatures and ugly beings, pretty much. And it's like, you could have, like, maybe don't go for the model. Go for the... I say that, but then I the more I thought about it, a person that I think could have done a decent job in this is... What's the... Catherine Deneuve or whatever, the one with the really big eyebrows?
Cara Delevingne?
Yes, thank you.
Who also played a witch.
She also played a witch. I've watched her in a bunch of things, and then I saw that
Carnival Row?
Carnival Row, the one with Orlando Bloom. She is like the opposite of what I'm talking about, where she's a model, she's beautiful, but she's gotten in these roles where she needed to be dirty, and you bought it. Like, you're like, oh, okay, I can see you. It's kind of why I didn't buy into what's her name in the Mad Max sequel.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy. And I like that movie, but I still didn't buy her because I'm like,
I need to. I've been meaning to watch it. I still haven't watched it. It's in my queue and everything.
It's good. It's all right. Yeah. It's very unnecessary.
The immediate notice that I had was like, we waited a long time for this, and then nobody cared.
Yeah.
So unlike Mad Max, where nobody was waiting for it, and then everybody cared.
Yeah.
And I think that is kind of telling.
Yeah.
It's also important to remember that George Miller did both Happy Feet 1 and Happy Feet 2.
Yes.
So
that's true. But yeah, no, this movie, so that movie, Anya Taylor-Joy, never bought it for a second. I'm like, this is a post-apocalyptic world that you were born in, raised in, like, servitude, and you are stunning with the most perfect features I've ever seen. And it's like, I don't buy any of that, man. Everyone else around you has, like, scars. And I think that was always one of my issues with the Fury Road, where it's like, all of the women that get rescued, it's like, dude, how are like the four of you, these gorgeous supermodels?
For that, I always assumed it was like Morton Joe had gone around picking these specific things or even cultivating them.
Oh no, he does, and that's what the story is with this. Yeah. But it's like, even so,
yeah.
Like, you look like you're well manicured in makeup, and it's like, this is fucking apocalypse, man.
Considering what the half boys look like.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. No, I get that.
Like, I'll go back to one of my favorites, Rachel Weisz, who I love Rachel Weisz. Did you ever see
Also could have played a witch.
She absolutely could have played a witch. The sniper movie, the Russian sniper movie she did with Jude Law and
Enemy at the Gate?
Enemy at the Gates, yeah. So Enemy at the Gates, Rachel Weisz, who I have been in love with since the first Mummy movie.
How can you not be?
She's spectacular.
Really quick, I love that one of the legends, the lore pieces of the Mummy movie in the last 20 years has become that it's how people find out that they're bisexual because they're attracted to both Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. And it's funny. Like, I fucking love that.
That is pretty funny. I never heard that. I like that a lot. That is pretty goddamn funny. But like in that movie, she's just like covered in dirt and grime, and she just looks like she is a soldier, like not doing shit. Like not doing anything to clean it up. And it's like, dude, that's where that disconnect is in some of these movies. And it's like, same with like Mila. You know, I'm not gonna give away anything, but let's just say her head is buried for like 10,000 years or like 1,000 years or whatnot, and it comes out with perfect makeup and perfect flesh, and it's like,
well, it's like what was her name? Rose Huntington Wheatley, who was also in Mad Max, but in the third Transformers movie, where she's in the middle of this violent hellscape in Chicago, and because it's fucking what's his nuts, Michael Bay. Yeah. She has like her makeup to the nines. Oh yeah, they're just doing these swooping.
Well, it was the same
shots.
with the Marky Mark's daughter and the other one, the fourth one.
Yeah,
and then
I skipped that one. I was like, after 3, I was like, and we're done.
Yeah,
and we're done.
The fourth one, it never ended. It was like the joke they had about, was it Bad Boys 2, that it had like 3 endings. Mm-hmm. That Transformers movie never, like, it ended and ended and ended. Like, it was insane. But like, even Megan Fox in the first couple, it's like, okay, so you sprayed water on her so she looks glistening and sweaty on her perky boobs.
Yeah,
you're sick.
Yeah,
Michael Bay, you are a
weirdo, and things are going to come out in 20 years, and there's going to be a whole story. I'm sure.
I don't even want to think about that. But yeah, so anyways, Hellboy 2019. I recommended it to watch. If you know, for a while I didn't think I was going to watch it because I was pissed that they didn't make a third Del Toro one with Ron Perlman, but it's enjoyable. You know, it has some flaws, but look past those and you'll find an enjoyable movie.
I just like the idea of we're going to make Hellboy 3 with Del Toro now, and Ron Perlman is so old that we have to, it's Hellboy goes to the nursing home. Hellboy gets checked into assisted care. And, it's a dark joke. I'm sorry.
No, it's quite an possibility.
I fucking love Ron Perlman, and I love the Ron Perlman Hellboy.
Yeah,
this is all coming from a place of love.
Oh, absolutely. Ron Perlman's high on our list in this household.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So with that, I invite my wife Kelly to come over here.
Oh, Kelly,
and join us for a little conversation. So we're going to
I am very interested in listening to.
Yes, this is
so welcome.
Hi.
So I heard you were been playing a game I've been very interested in listening to.
Yes. Yeah. It's finally dropped after delays and waits.
When did it come out?
Last
Thursday?
week.
Was Thursday last week?
Yeah.
God, I didn't even know it came out because I've been waiting.
So we're talking about Tales of the Shire.
Yes, thank you.
Tales of the Shire.
We're just talking about the games.
This game was originally announced years ago. I think like 2021
I want to say 22, but
it was a while
ago.
Yeah.
It was originally supposed to come out last September on Bilbo and Frodo's birthday because they share a birthday in September. Would have been great. And then like a month or two before that release date, they were like, hey, we have a lot more work we want to do on this. It's going to be a minute.
It's not done. We want to make it done.
Well, and that first trailer, I remember, got bad.
Yeah.
People did not like the art design of the game.
And it was September 2023 when it was announced.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it was pushed to March, and then they were like, hey, once again, we're going to push this, but we're going to invite a handful of influencers to, like, you know, play the game as it is now in beta, just to get some feedback. Cool, great.
Because that's who you want feedback from.
Influencers, yeah. That's what I think about.
So, finally...
It's here.
It's here! Very end of July, like nearly a year after it was supposed to drop, but it's here.
And are you playing it on the PS5 or the Switch?
So...
She's playing on Steam currently.
Yes.
Oh!
So I pre-ordered the special edition...
Funny story about why we're not playing it on the Switch.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear this too.
So we pre-ordered the collector's edition.
Okay.
Because it comes with a fancy case and like a physical map of the town, which is super cute.
That is kind of neat.
The company they hired to distribute these pre-orders for the special edition didn't actually get copies of the game until that week. So they're not even getting sent out until like this week.
They haven't been printed. They weren't
What?
ready.
They were really, really working until the last second on this game,
It was
apparently.
delayed twice, so it just like they couldn't get the prints out in time.
Yeah. So I guess some people have gotten their copies at this point. I'm still waiting for mine to get shipped.
Yes.
Which is
That's
fine.
insanity.
So Steam was the only way to go.
Yeah, so
Oh my
I
God.
debated doing like PS5 or whatever, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get it for Steam because I know I bought my laptop like 2 years ago, very specifically with really good graphics card, so I could do stuff like this. And I will say, until I unplugged my laptop and it went into power saving mode, it has been running very well.
Yeah, the laptop did not like that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
There have been a couple of moments, but for the most part, I have not experienced the same issues some people have seen, which I'm very thankful for.
Yeah, it does run like a champ.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see how it runs on the Switch, though.
Because I feel like that's a smaller
Probably.
processor with a smaller graphics
But
card.
now the thing is, though, it doesn't seem like a graphically like difficult game
and
to
that's
run.
a lot of that was the biggest complaint when they first, showed any part of this game, is that it's very cartoony graphics.
Toon shaded almost.
Yeah, it's very cel shaded because it's supposed to be like saturated and chill and peaceful. And before I get into my favorite parts of the game, I'll talk about the negatives.
Okay.
So if
Yeah, because that's the part of the game that I saw.
yeah.
I want to come up front. I have not played the game, and also I have only watched her play certain sections of the game. So I came out of it kind of with a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you be the one that's
Okay.
actually
Yeah.
carrying this.
I would say if I wasn't a Lord of the Rings fan, if I was just like a regular old cozy gamer, maybe liked fantasy but not like Lord of the Rings heavy, I think I'd give this game like a 6.5, 7. Maybe,
Okay. So still
maybe
in the okay range.
Like a
Yeah.
B. Like a solid B.
like a B minus.
Okay.
There are NPCs that like have little speech bubbles, but you can't really interact with, and there's
Really?
like 12 actual NPCs that you can interact with, so not a ton.
So they do have an entire Shire, but the vast majority of the people you can't do anything with.
It's not the whole Shire. It's just the town of Bywater.
Right. But, like, I mean, like, they have a community.
Yeah.
They have an entire community, but it's not a community where you can go and talk to literally everybody.
Yeah. And for
So
people,
it's only one town in the Shire?
yeah, which is fine. So
Yeah.
for people who don't know what Bywater is, think of, let's say, New York City. If Hobbiton is Manhattan, Bywater is like Brooklyn.
Okay.
It's just across the river, a bit smaller, but still, hopping and doing its thing,
They
right?
still want to be considered their own town.
Yeah, so the story plot is that the people in the town want to be officially recognized as a village.
Okay.
So you have several fetch quests where you're trying to like put together all these requirements to become a village, and it gets complicated. So the NPC thing. Other problem is that you can't romance any NPCs, which a lot of cozy gamers really enjoy.
I don't know if you're familiar with Stardew Valley.
It's like a whole thing of like, oh, which character are you gonna like marry? It's like a whole thing.
There's an entire town. There's an entire town of people. All of the people have things where you can talk to them and interact with them. the whole game was written by one guy.
Yeah.
And so I just look at this and I just say, you had an entire team of people and 2 delays.
Yeah.
And this guy did it. It's the Tony Stark meme. This guy did it in a cave.
With a pile of
scraps.
Totally. Yeah. Another slight downfall, and I say this as a Lord of the Rings fan, the hobbits don't drink or smoke.
Because it's for kids.
Because it is rated E for everyone. So, like, I get it because of the ratings, but it's also, like...
It's a huge bummer.
I was running around in the game, and I was like, why am I able to collect hops if I can't have beer? And it ends up being that you can trade them, which is fine. You can trade it for other stuff.
Couldn't they have made it, like, butterbeer or something?
Yeah,
like
anything?
Any kind of stand-in. I get not having the smoking thing. That's fine. But, like, the beer? Guys! So...
There's literally a tavern in town.
There's 2!
What do you go and do at the Green Dragon?
They just kind of stand around and talk.
But, like, this is a question that, you know, being Lord of the Rings fan, it's like,
yeah.
Well, then why make the game if you're not going to have pipe smoking? I'm sorry. Pipe smoking with hobbits is...
It's a thing.
It's as if having 7 meals a day. It's the same thing. It's
Totally. Yeah. So...
There's a lot of elements that you kind of feel like, man, I hope that this comes in later. That they have like a change of heart.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Are they going to do like a Outer Worlds?
They haven't said anything yet. I think they're waiting to see how it goes. Because now that the game is available for the common folk and not just the people who got it like specially earlier. This is where I'll get into my positives of the review.
I want to talk about the positives because I feel like we've been dumping on it, and it's not worth dumping on.
Yeah. So those negatives aside, as a Lord of the Rings fan, I give this a solid like 8.5.
Really?
At least. The vibe that they give Bywater and the Shire is really lovely and warm and cozy and wonderful, and like the different seasons are really fun. Oh, one more slight negative. The day-night cycle is very fast. So
really?
And you can't run very fast, so you really gotta, like, hustle your bustle if you want to get anything done.
There's no run button, there's a skip button.
Yeah.
Which is adorable. But when you're trying to beat the clock, you're kind of like, I gotta skip there as fast as I can.
See, and that's annoying,
Back to the fun
especially
things.
after playing games like Animal Crossing, which it's like, just put a day-night like that, like an actual regular day.
Or like somewhere in between, because that was something that I had a huge problem with Animal Crossing, was like you would do like the 20 minutes in the morning, and then you wouldn't really have a lot to do after that.
If the skip button, or there are different personality types that you can pick from when you're making your character, so I think that affects your run cycle. If they had made that just a little bit faster, that would be great.
And a little clearer.
Yeah.
So when you're picking, if that is the case, because it's an if, we don't know. But it would make sense.
It really doesn't seem much faster.
Yeah.
Actually, a good mix would be the Breath of the Wild day-night cycle.
Yeah,
That's a really good one.
Totally.
Yeah. I like Xenoblade Chronicle X. Their day-night cycle, I believe, is 25 minutes to a half hour, which that was perfect because if I knew I needed to do something at night, I would make sure my traveling during the day to get there.
Yeah.
But 30 minutes was a nice, like...
Yeah. And I will say, if the run function was faster, I would be fine with the current day-night cycle.
Okay.
There's also no penalty for like falling asleep in the middle of the map when the day ends, so that's kind of nice.
By a troll or anything like
that. Like this one guy is like, haha, I like brought you home in a wheelbarrow, lol lol. Very funny.
That's kind of funny.
Orlo,
yeah.
Orlo.
Okay, so I will say, getting through the main plot of the game, it took me less than a year game time.
Okay.
It took me like 2.5, 3 seasons.
Okay.
Which is fine. There is still so much other shit you need to do, though. And it takes a very long time to accumulate money. So there's so many things you can, like, buy and decorate your hobbit hole with. Going back to my positives. Oh my gosh, your little hobbit hole is so gorgeous. you get a lot of customization options like right off the bat, which is really lovely.
Now, do you get just an empty one to start with and you have to fill it, or does it got stuff in it?
A little bit of both.
So the story is that you're moving to Bywater from Bree, and this older lady passed away, and you kind of got her house.
Oh, creepy.
So it's already so it's already filled with like a lot of furniture and other junk.
Okay.
So you can like clean it up and redistribute what's in there already. But you get furniture pretty easily from one of the main functions of the game, which is hosting meals. Once a day, you can invite a bunch of hobbits to share a meal together. So you cook for them based on their preferences and what they're in the mood for that day.
Okay.
And depending on how you do, it'll raise your friendship. The more friendship you have with them, you start to unlock cool stuff. So like expanding your house, upgrading your tools, unlocking new places to go foraging and fishing. What else? Oh, I got chickens. Yeah, access to your front door.
Nice. That's good. That's good to have.
I don't want to interrupt you. I just want to explain that. So one of my favorite things is, how games these days, it's kind of like how you put up these inconveniences that you have to break through in order to get to a point in the game where it's, it's everything you want to be. So the inconvenience that they've established here is that you can't get through the front door, so you have to go through your back door whenever you want to go into your hobbit hole. And then at a certain point, you level up enough to clear your front door.
Oh, that's insane. Okay, that might be a little crazy.
Yeah.
I just love it in a concept. Kelly's showing me her hobbit hole. This is not a critique. This is just something that I find terribly cute.
Yeah.
Kelly is showing me her hobbit hole, and she has to take the long way around inside because there's no way to cut through certain sections of the house because while they are there, they are also blocked. And it's just the funniest fucking thing to me as far as a metric.
Yeah. And the same goes for some of there are like garden spaces outside your hobbit hole. So before you unlock those, you can't like get to your house that way. And the navigation system in this is they're like little birds that show up and show you which direction to go.
Okay.
So regardless of where you like are in the map and the birds are like directing you home, sometimes they will direct you to a part of the house you have not unlocked, so you can't get in that way.
Oh my god.
Which is it's more hilarious than anything at this point.
It's just kind of like it's just one of those things where like if you cared, I'm sure people would be upset. They'd be like, you had 2 delays and this is still how the game looks?
Yeah.
But, like, it's only if you let it get under your skin.
Yeah.
I still think it's really more funny than anything.
Totally.
It's kind of like how when you show up, we didn't know that you couldn't talk to everybody. So we came in kind of assuming you could talk to anybody. And we walk outside, and the first person we talk to is this grumpy old man. And we're like, well, he fucking sucks. Let's avoid him. And then Kelly goes to try and talk to anyone else, and you can't talk to anybody. So we're like, so you can talk to the grumpy old man.
Yeah.
But you can't talk to any of the other people around him.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So the reason why I adore this game and why I got bumped up so much when I say this as a Lord of the Rings fan is how much absolute love and lore is sprinkled into this.
Really?
So this takes place when like Sam and Rosie and that generation are kids.
Oh, okay.
So Rosie Cotton lives in Bywater, and she's like a teenager that you interact with, and she talks about how she's like writing to this cute boy Sam over in Hobbiton.
Oh, wink, wink.
Oh my god,
I
it's
got a
so
letter from
cute.
Sam this morning. It just says, hi, Rosie.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like literally.
Yeah,
oh my god,
awesome.
it was so cute. And oh, that was the other thing is her being like, yeah, my dad wants me to marry someone who's like really important and like a mayor and stuff, but I just want to marry someone who's really nice. And I'm like, girl, I got news for you. You get both. Because in canon, Samwise becomes the mayor of Hobbiton like years later.
That's awesome.
Starts out dropping eaves and then drops bombs in politics.
Yeah.
And Saruman kicks Saruman out of the Shire.
Pretty much.
One of the reasons why I'm really sad there's no romance option is because there's a really hot dwarf lady that lives in the town, and oh my god.
They gave her a beard, which is so fucking dope.
She's so cool.
It's a female dwarf with a full beard.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's like a nose ring. Oh my god, she's amazing.
Her design is fucking great.
Stellar.
She has a duck that wears armor
oh
as
my
a
god.
pet.
Ladle the duck with a little helmet. She's the cutest.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. So, as I mentioned, as you level up your friendship with the different NPCs you can interact with, you start to learn little like tidbits about them. It's like one person will talk about like, oh, that crazy Mr. Baggins who lives in Hobbiton and all of his adventures. And Gandalf does show up in the game several times. So that's also very fun. Nice.
He Professor Oaks you at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, he brings you to buy water. It's really funny. But I mentioned our hot dwarf lady. She is the niece of Ori from The Hobbit.
Oh.
So she has this whole cutscene where she's like, yeah, like my uncle went to go join like Balin to go retake Moria, but I haven't heard from them in a while. And in the back of your mind, you're like, oh no!
They're gonna be alright.
Oh no! Yeah.
Don't get your hopes up. Yeah. Let's change the subject.
For real. But there's lots of lovely little sprinklings of good hobbitiness, and oh my god, I have probably already sunk like 20 hours into this game, and I've only had it for less than a week.
No, well, I believe that.
Yeah. It's just so
now,
chill.
Being somebody that put in hundreds of hours into Animal Crossing, is this that type of game, do you think?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, how does this rank in comparison to an Animal Crossing and or a Stardew Valley?
Yeah, I think if we were to compare this to like the first or second Animal Crossing, it'd be probably a little more comparable. Okay. It's not nearly as extensive. So there's not nearly as many like furniture sets or clothing options as Animal Crossing, right? And certainly not as many NPCs. But the game elements of like making friends, foraging, fishing, cooking food, that's all there. Okay. And that's really lovely.
Is the fishing fun?
That's
always one of my favorite
parts.
The
fishing system is really lovely.
Okay.
I will say. It's not nearly as frustrating as some other ones. It's pretty straightforward to do. The cooking is really fun. You have like, you start to unlock different like prep stations, and you have like a little kind of like mathematical chart of like what you need to do to the food to like get it to where it's supposed to be, so it's really high quality. And also like getting high quality ingredients is a whole thing, and you can like season and spice it to change the flavor palette.
I like that there's a element of like how smooth it's been cut.
Yeah.
So like if it's really like you can really mash it into a paste, or you can do like kind of a rough cut.
Yeah, there's smooth and rough, tender and crisp, I think it is like the north, south, east, west of it.
XY axis.
Yeah. So as you start to cook more, you get to unlock more stations, which makes it easier to like correct yourself if you fuck up. Which can happen.
Oh, I can imagine.
But there's like so many different foods that you can do, and most of them, especially the ones with like forageable items. So like, if there's like a nut cake, you can use like any kind of nut that's in your inventory. Or like berry pie, you can use any of the berries that you have, right? So that's really fun.
I really like the way that the game progresses in terms of how it looks. Oh, hi. Hello. Pay no attention to the paper crinkling noise. Pippin needs a toy.
Yep.
I really like how it evolves.
Yeah.
Like when you showed me how your pantry looks now compared to when I saw it at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Really? So, in your house you have like a little pantry area, which is pretty much your like storage inventory. But as you start to add more stuff into it, it'll like change appearance and be like, oh, you have pumpkins now, and you have eggplants, and you have like cream and butter.
These greeneries that are hanging from the ceiling.
They'll like start to fill in.
Yeah.
Hi, Pippin. As you start to collect all those things.
He is bored. His mom is on the show, and he's like, you didn't give me anything to do before you left.
Yep. Pretty much.
But I do like it. I do like the look of it, and I think that there is something to be said for, like, in the same way that in Animal Crossing...
Oh! Speaking of Animal Crossing, if I can just segue really quick. Decorating your house is way better than Animal Crossing.
Oh, good, because I don't like...
There's no grids. You can rotate objects freely. As I mentioned,
the camera.
Yeah, you can rotate the camera very easily.
Better, yeah.
As I mentioned, for the hardware of the house itself, so the walls and the beams and stuff, when you start to build your house, it comes with a lot of customization options already. And all the bric-a-brac that this person left behind. But as you start to get more stuff, so there's a dwarf furniture set that you can get. There's a Mirkwood furniture set.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
so you can really have really fun themed rooms.
That's what I was going to say, is that for this in Animal Crossing, they have fun theme things, but you don't have a moment where you're like, oh, this is the Mirkwood furniture set.
Yeah.
This is based on not just elven designs, but also you can imagine it being in an elven parlor room or something.
Yeah. Oh, looks so cool.
She showed me her dwarf bedroom. And it's I get it. It's not just that it's made out of stone, but there is a comfort and warmth to it as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so it's really well designed in terms of its look.
I haven't shown you this. So the Green Dragon, as we mentioned, which is the local tavern, the Green Dragon in the game, the exterior has these large literal green dragon parts outside. So I recently unlocked the headpiece, and I just have it in my garden now.
Hell yeah.
Which is so awesome. So when I have the cutscene at the end of the day to show the sun is setting and everything, I just see this giant green dragon over my house, and I'm yeah.
Oh, that's
hell
awesome.
yeah.
That's really
So
cool.
it's those sort of lovely little details. The other thing I'll say is the characters are a lot more diverse than I think some games might go for. Mm-hmm. So there's one character who's missing a leg and has a peg leg, which I didn't even notice until today after several days of playing it. Some characters are missing teeth, and you can totally tell. The toddler doesn't have two front teeth. There's another guy who definitely lost a front incisor. One thing that I was worried about is all of the trailers and previews I saw is the Hobbit character you make of yourself. All of them looked so skinny. I'm hobbits aren't skinny.
No, not even a little
Make
bit.
me fat. I'm a hobbit.
This is the one time I can make myself
Yeah.
I
fat.
have 3 breakfasts a day.
Yeah.
God damn it, give me
I have to have washboard abs as every other character.
Oh,
Give me
God.
my pot belly.
Yeah. So seeing those fun little very quirky, whimsical details that you're able to have yourself or you see in other characters is just really nice.
It was a
awesome.
great moment when you were making your character and we found the hips.
the hip slider.
and it was oh, here we go. We can make her wider
Oh,
and bigger.
nice.
There we go.
That's what we were
That's
looking
what we
for.
wanted.
That's nice.
And a lot of fantasy properties kind of take some flack for not having as many darker skin tone options. And this game does have not only great skin tone options, but there are 2 NPCs that are implied to be black, and they have the proper hair textures as well. So that's also really nice to see because
Which I'm assuming that's one of the positives that came out of Rings of Power because they had that diversity angle on the non-Hobbit hobbits.
Yeah.
That I think they were able to roll that into this.
yeah,
Which is nice.
and to see them really lean into that is very, very nice.
Going back off of
Yeah.
Rings of Power really quick. It's nice to see something that takes place in the Tolkien world, but is more emblematic of Tolkien as we know it.
Gotcha.
Because Rings of Power, even when they get something right, they get something wrong.
Yes.
So I think her name is Dara, is the dwarf wife.
Oh, yeah.
And she's great. And I love her as a character.
She's very cool.
She needs to have a beard.
Yes.
She's gotta have a
Gimli
beard.
tells us, in no uncertain terms, that female dwarves also have beards. So she has to have a beard.
Yeah.
And so it's when you see those things done properly, you're okay, there we go. Someone who knows what they're doing and is invested in what's going on here.
And
agree.
Weta was one of the production companies that worked on this game.
Oh, nice.
So they did have Tolkien scholars and people who worked on the movies working on this game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is great. And that's why there are so many awesome little Easter eggs. Even just random dialogue options.
Yeah.
There's little sprinkles of stuff from the books and from the movies, and it's ooh, yay!
Well, I just love that you keep on running into the Tooks and the Cottons.
Yeah.
And it's I get that reference.
Yeah.
I know what that means.
Yeah. One thing that's very fun is there's like a handful of Hobbit last names you can use.
Okay.
And they have suggested first names, but you can customize the first name.
Yeah.
But you have to have a Hobbity last name, which is very immersive.
They have a list of like 30 Hobbit last names.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And so, but they're good. They have some good ones in there.
Yeah.
They don't have all the ones you want. I think they have Proud Foot, but not Proud Feet.
Well, Proud Feet is the plural. That's the joke.
Is that the joke?
Yeah.
I thought they were always getting his name wrong.
No.
Oh. See, I don't. Tolkien's way ahead of me.
Yeah.
Hey, bud, I love you to death. You gotta stop.
I can take them outside when
you
we're
can't
done.
do paper right now.
Yeah, so it's Weta Workshop and Private Division, maybe?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
I don't know Private Division either, but it's very enjoyable. If you like Lord of the Rings, I think the first week or so that it's out, it is on sale on Steam. It'll probably go on sale again because of the back and forth of reviews.
Yeah. Yeah, it's boomeranged. It had some bad reviews to start, and then as more and more people have been playing it, the reviews have gotten better.
Yeah, because the people who wanted to play this in the first place are like, hell yeah, this is my game.
So Private Division is a publishing label of Take-Two Interactive. I know Take-Two.
Oh, hell yeah. Take-Two's great.
No, I honestly wanted to play this game. There hasn't been a lot of fanfare, so I don't even know it came out.
Yeah. Totally.
But mind you, I haven't been able to flip on my Switch anytime.
Well, and this is one of the tricky things. We've talked a lot in this show. Guy, buddy, hey, Pippin, I love you. Can you not right now? I love that we're being interrupted by Pippin being a pain in the ass. That is topical for what we're doing right now.
It is.
Pretty much.
That's the thing that we've talked about a lot on the show, is what do you do when the game's not done? And is it better to delay the game until it's in a better state, or release it when you said you were going to release it? And we've always said it's better to hold the game and release it when it's closer to done.
Yeah.
And
they did that this time.
And that's what makes it interesting, is that they did that this time, and they kind of paid the price for it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I agree, there hasn't been as much push for this as there was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And there was a definite sense of disappointment when it was delayed a second time.
I think people were expecting, because it was delayed so much, I think people were expecting like some big, grand, wonderful, detailed,
it was going to be
Skyrim level.
It was going to be like everything and more than you even thought.
And it's like, no, that's not the point.
I think what they fell short on big time was the advertising for this game.
Yeah.
Because what did we just watch? A Nintendo Partner Direct, and this game was not in it.
Yeah.
This game has Nintendo fan written all over it. And it was not in the Partner Direct.
Yeah. Especially because, as I mentioned, it is exceedingly kid-friendly.
Yeah.
The control, like I mentioned, the fishing minigame, very easy to do. The cooking stuff all makes sense. There's nothing too crazy or raunchy, or even for like a Tolkien thing, nothing too dark. They like kind of hint at like, ooh, like
a shadow in the east.
Stuff's coming.
Oh, they do that all.
Yeah, like one of the characters is, I mentioned, that has like the peg leg. Her mom was a healer, and there's like all this drama because she's not as good as her mom. And Gandalf has kind of this throwaway line of like, oh, we're going to need people like her in the coming years. And your character's like, what's that supposed to mean? My guy? Politely?
That's funny.
Oh, man. So, to recap, great, fun, chill game. If you just want something cozy and mindless to, spend dozens and dozens of hours on.
Would you say, as a Tolkien fan, it at least achieves a B+?
Oh, yeah, well, as I, going from not a Tolkien fan to Tolkien fan, this gets bumped up to like an 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, so this is like an A-.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, easily.
So, and the big thing also that people need to know, which I didn't know this, it's only $39.99.
Yeah.
So it's not even
not
one
an
of the
expensive
big
game.
expensive games.
That was
it's definitely worth giving it a look.
That was one of the things that Kelly's cousin Steve noted when we were firing it up.
Yeah.
Is like, yes, we have these complaints, but it also wasn't $60 to $80.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're not charging an arm and a leg for this.
Okay.
Before we say farewell to Kelly,
Yeah.
I want to talk about K-pop Demon Hunters.
K-pop Demon
because
Hunters!
in the long list of things that we were going to talk about last week that got booted for real life problems,
Yeah.
K-pop Demon Hunters, we watched that a month ago.
Speaking of things I've been hyper-fixating on.
Yeah.
A month ago?
I've probably watched that movie 4 times and listened to the soundtrack on
I listen to the soundtrack every day.
Yeah.
No lie, no embarrassment. I listen to the soundtrack every day.
If you do not want to watch this movie for whatever stupid reason, at least listen to the soundtrack.
The soundtrack is still a banger. I will say, I listen to the soundtrack every day. I skip about a third of the songs because I refuse to listen to some of them, and others of them I'm just less interested in.
Yeah, there's a couple of songs that are more like...
background.
They're like non-diegetic,
Yeah.
right?
But the songs that are diegetic are fucking fire. Even the song I don't like, Soda Pop, I don't just like it because it's a bad song. I just like it because it's such a good song.
Yeah.
And I don't
Jesus.
like how good a song it is.
What did he just do?
He knocked over our microphone
Which is-
boxes.
Oh my god, that makes sense.
Which, for Soda Pop, it's hilarious because it's made to be like...
It's made to be that
saccharine
way.
and catchy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be. So because Steve hasn't seen us yet.
Yeah, so quick recap.
So K-pop Demon Hunters is a Sony Animation produced Netflix movie.
It is Sony, because it looks...
Yeah.
It has that Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so same animation studio, same animation theories and politics. So this is another one of those movies where they will use the timing of animation. So characters will move on 1s versus 2s.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Which is very fun.
Which is very fun. So it's very nerdy in terms of its animation, but it's also just a really good story and movie.
Yeah.
It's once again, I don't want to generalize. It's once again another Asian politic movie about generational trauma.
Hooray.
And how we move on from how the past generations have acted. Which is like, yep, this is their big thing.
Yeah. But this is where it really wins, is K-pop is having kind of a moment this decade. I think we can all kind of agree.
so.
Yeah, I would say the last 15 years, yeah.
The premise of the movie, and why it's called K-pop Demon Hunters, is every generation has this group of 3 female warriors. They defeat demons through the power of music!
Because music binds us all together. And there's an element of like
Very Bill and Ted.
you can't stop yourself from being engrossed by the music, by being pulled in.
And like when they're performing, you can like see people like literally glowing because of the magic
Their
of the
souls
music.
are lighting up from the magic of the music. It's really good.
Yeah.
It really is like in a world of hurt and pain, it's a really nice movie about the goodness of humanity, and it doesn't have that problem that like I'm replaying Spider-Man 2 right now, the game, and I love it. It's still a good game, but it definitely has some problems in post that you kind of ignore when you're playing it for the first time. And one of the problems is that people are so fucking nice. And it's like, I lived in New York. People don't talk this way.
Yeah.
And I have that problem with some anime and other things where it's just like, people don't talk like this. And K-pop does not have that problem.
Yeah. And it rules as a musical because them breaking out into song and dance makes sense.
It makes sense within the body of the plot.
for so many reasons.
There's a line in the opening song that is, what is it? It's, whole world listens to our sound.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it
There's a lot of
it
lines
makes
like that.
sense because their whole thing is making this music that lights up people's souls in order to create basically a
This,
heaven wall
yeah.
against the demons that the
Okay.
demons can't permeate through.
Yeah. So they have to like continuously maintain it to like keep the barrier to keep more demons from coming up here.
But if they achieve a certain level, it'll turn gold. And when it turns gold, they don't have to maintain it anymore.
Okay.
And so at the beginning of the movie, they see this golden shimmer running through the audience.
And they're like,
it's time. We got to start doing this thing.
Yeah.
And so it's one of my favorite moments is you have the 2 girls. So it's, I say girls, 2 women. It's a 3-woman group. There's Rumi is the lead.
Yeah.
Zoe is the American Korean, and Mira, who I always have to remember Aquaman's wife. That's how I remember her name.
Oh, pooping in the bed.
I didn't say that. Nobody brought up Amber Heard. We just talked about Mira.
I know, but you say that. That's all I can think about is Amber Heard.
So anyway, they are. they're overworked like anybody.
Yeah.
And so Zoe and Mira have this whole thing about getting home and sitting on the couch in comfy clothes.
Like, yes, we finally finished our world tour. We can take a break.
We did it. We don't have to save the world. We don't have to do anything.
And their overachiever frontrunner Rumi is like, haha, I'm gonna release our new single.
We're so close to getting gold. Let's just go for it. Let's just push right now and get it done. Yeah. And so the demons see this moment and they're like, well, we got to come up with a counter to this.
Yeah. So spoilers. We're gonna get into spoilers territory.
Okay, that's fine. I'm good with spoilers.
Yeah. So there's a specific demon.
Jin.
Jin?
Is it Jin?
Gino?
Gina. Is it Gino?
Gino! We got there.
Gino.
Okay, so one specific demon, Gino. We learn about his backstory. Very tragic. We won't talk about that right now.
Yeah, that's not as important.
Yeah, he makes a proposal to the...
Demon Lord.
I guess Demon Lord, Guima. And he's like, hey... why don't we use music to combat their music since that seems to be, like, the thing that's powering them?
Let's fight fire with fire.
Yeah, so Guima's like, I don't know about this. And he's like, hey, look, I put together, like, a boy band of demons, and we're all really hot and great. And there's, like, a moment where they, like, do the pose, and they show how hot they are. And the other
demons are like,
the other demons are like, oh, yeah, this'll work.
This is fine. This is a good plan.
That's awesome.
And so they show up, and they have this single, Soda Pop. And Soda Pop is meant to be an earworm.
Yeah.
It is a living, breathing earworm, which is why I won't listen to it. It's like Baby Shark. I won't listen to it because if I let it in my brain, it's never leaving my brain.
Oh, and it repeats so good.
It's the perfect earworm, literally. And within the body of the plot, it has to be.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole crux of the demons thing is like, we're going to bring them down by having another group
by trying to be more popular.
Who's even more popular and has music that's even catchier and even more ubiquitous. And man, it's a really good movie.
It's a great movie.
That sounds good.
So we won't get into any more spoilers because really you gotta see it because it's so fantastic.
It was the takeaway that we all had from it was that was a good movie. I wish that they had flushed out like these 7 elements more.
Yeah. But the good news is they have confirmed that we're getting at least 2 more movies.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Because it's one of those things where they'll set up stuff and they'll be like, oh, this character is this way because of their parents. And you're like, oh, really? And then they won't talk about it again. And you're just like, wait. I feel like we should, though. But I feel like we should. And apparently, originally, it was going to be like a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, the original cut was like 3 hours.
Really?
So it makes sense why so many things had to be taken out.
Gotcha.
And unlike a lot of things where you take a lot of stuff out, the existing piece after all these elements are taken out is still really good. It does feel like there were elements taken out of it. You definitely look around and you're like, they said that thing and I feel like it was going to come up again and then it didn't. And I feel that's weird. So hearing that they're going to make more of it, you're like, okay, good. Because I feel like if this was it would be fine, but I would have questions.
Context. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Daniel Day Kim is a voice in this.
Yeah.
He is also a character in the Hellboy.
Yes, he is. He plays the Jaguar Man.
It's all connected, man. Yeah. It's all connected.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have like a big name cast.
Yeah.
We were joking beforehand that the biggest names are Daniel Day Kim
and Ken Jeong.
And
I will say this role is the least grating Ken Jeong role.
Oh my god, you can't tell that it's Ken Jeong. He doesn't do his Ken Jeong things.
Nice.
It's like
the character is great.
It's just a proof of concept for, hey, you can have Ken Jeong in something and have him be enjoyable, not have him be obnoxious. And like, I love Community, but I'd be lying if I said Chang at some point doesn't jump the shark and then have to win us back over after he's jumped the shark.
I do have to throw out that I am grateful that it is a animated movie with Asian characters, and Awkwafina is nowhere near this fucking thing.
I heard that a lot.
I'm so happy about that shit.
Yeah.
I saw that, I'm like, oh, fucking watching it now.
I wish Awkwafina didn't get the rap that she did. She just pulled in too many fish at once, I think.
It's the Chris Pratt. I mean, Chris Pratt, I don't like it for other reasons, but it was just too fast.
It was like when she showed up in Renfield, and I was like, you shouldn't be in this movie.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be in this movie.
Because Raya in The Last Dragon, I fucking love that movie.
I like her in Raya in The Last Dragon.
It's awesome.
I think she's really good in that. But then she's in Shang-Chi, and you're like, why are you in this?
And then all the other movies that are animated, you hear her voice, and you're like,
No, they really did a good job of, because they have different voice actors for the voices versus they actually have K-pop singers doing the singing.
Oh, well, that's good.
And they had
I think Rumi is voiced by her actual singer, is she not?
no.
Really?
Nope.
I thought that she was. Okay.
Nope. The singer for Rumi did write a lot of the songs though, which is a baller.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Because they had a thing where they were so used to hearing her doing the songs that they just had her do the songs in the movie.
They had hired her to work on this music, and she was, in all of the demos, and they were like, hey, why don't we just keep you on to do the actual voice for the movie? And she was like, yeah.
Yeah. But it's a really good movie. Has a really good...
really great nods to Korean culture as well.
Yes. There's this is what I love about it.
They poke fun at the K-pop industry in a lot of ways,
They
which
definitely
is also
do.
cool.
They talk about kind of how poisonous the K-pop industry is,
Yeah.
in terms of how it just like churns people in and out and will turn you into ground meat if you're not careful. But it does something that I think is really important, wherein it doesn't try and change the culture, but it makes the culture approachable.
Yeah.
And so I've talked about this before, the Pokemon donuts. Where they have rice cakes and they call them donuts, and they say they're jelly-filled donuts, and it's clearly not.
No,
it's clearly not that. Or watching Digimon, and they would have characters that would drink a lot, but they were only drinking soda, so they were just acting funny after they drank all this soda, because we can't have beer. And going back to the Hobbits, you can. Kids are old enough to understand what alcohol is. But in this, a big part of it is going to the bathhouse.
Yeah.
And you never feel like you don't understand what that means to the characters.
Yeah.
We don't have bathhouses here. That's not part of our culture. But you never misunderstand what this means to the characters and to the culture that they're in.
Yeah.
And so it's not just like
all
what
the
these
food. Oh,
yes.
All the food and the snacks.
There's one of the things I love about this movie is that it does something that most movies don't allow themselves to do, which is to show female characters as little gremlins.
Yeah.
And
gorging on food and
gorging
snacks.
on food.
Awesome.
Just like, and the
cartoonishly
the faces that
shoving food in their mouths.
The faces that they make at some point are almost pornographic.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, okay.
It's funny you said that. One of the stills when I was looking at it on my phone when you guys were talking about it was her shoving French fries in her mouth. Yeah, that was something.
No, exactly. And so, like, but I love it. It's
Yeah.
like they allow these characters to be human and female, and not female in this, like, they have to be pressed and made up and everything, which they are, and they talk about that is a part of the plot. But, like, you get to see them as humans. You get to see them in their downtime. You get to see them without makeup on. Like, literally without makeup on.
Yes. And it inspires every little girl's dream to want to be not only a pop star, but also, kick butt.
Yeah.
Because they are badass fighters.
Oh, they're
the
great.
fight sequences
That's awesome.
are so engaging.
The fight sequences are excellent.
Especially since they are usually while they are singing.
Yeah, they're usually while songs are going on, and they're fucking great every single time.
You need to watch this with
I
your
know,
kids.
I gotta watch
it.
I put it on my watch list.
Everything that we saw in Superman that Gemma loved is in this movie.
And then some.
Yeah. So and you know what I love about this is that it takes the magical girl element of anime and
it makes it
modernizes
so cool.
Well, it takes it and it turns it into like this thing where like I remember when the magical girl anime thing meant like a weird, not pseudo but pretty much naked transformation sequence, and you were just kind of like, huh, that was weird and out of left field. And this, you get the same sense of like magical girl transformation, but nobody's ever naked. There's never like, even with all the stuff with the bathhouse, it never feels risque, and it never feels like, oh, quietly pornographic, and it just it feels human. It feels like people being people and trying to do their best and dealing with things that they've been told their entire lives that aren't true. And trying to grapple with that. How do we deal with that while also being the center of literally everyone's attention? It's a good movie.
Nice.
I like it.
Amazing.
Going on my movie night list.
High rewatch value.
A plus, I would say. It's
Yes.
high. It's good.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, folks. Now we need to move on to something we have been talking about for the last couple weeks. Al and I are going to do our review of the most recent Wes Anderson film, The Phoenician Scheme.
Yes.
Starring Benicio del Toro, Michael Cera, Mia Threppleton. which I don't think I've ever seen her in anything.
I think this is her first thing. She was really her first big thing, yeah.
And sprinkling with all of the other actors that like to work with Wes Anderson.
And then the Wes Anderson cavalcade of players.
Yes. Which I do still... It catches me off guard, but I appreciate the fact that Tom Hanks is one of them now.
I like that Tom Hanks is one of them in the same way that I get a little weirded out that Scarlett Johansson is one of them. I don't know that she... It's like when Bruce Willis showed up in...
Moonrise Kingdom?
I almost called it Strange Wilderness. Yeah. In Moonrise Kingdom. And you're just like, Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
I don't know that he fits this. And it may have just been her role in this movie, but man, did ScarJo stick out. And I was like, why are you here?
She stuck out, but I think she earned her street cred in Asteroid City.
Yeah.
You know, like, she really nailed that character, and I think he could be like, okay.
Yeah. No, it was definitely just one of those, like, I get why everybody else is here. I don't get why you're here.
Yeah.
And, but again, she also had a role that was just like, that was kind of that role.
Yeah,
was
super
just like,
in and out quick.
What does this mean?
Yeah.
So, to get into the nits and grits of this, the Phoenician Scheme revolves around... I can't remember his fucking name.
Zsa Zsa Corda.
Zsa Zsa Corda, yes.
Which is Benicio del Toro's character.
Yes.
Kind of like a... Do I want to say he's the guy that runs Fox News? So I can't...
Roger Ailes?
No, not Roger Ailes. The... Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah, Rupert Murdoch.
He's kind of like a Rupert Murdoch.
He's not a philanthropist. He's a philanthropist.
Yes.
He does terrible things for the community.
Horrible things.
No, he's just an industrialist. He's an industrialist who has crashed a ton of times. The beginning of the movie is him surviving an assassination attempt.
Which is the funny through line throughout this movie.
It's an ongoing through line. All right. The only way to do this is to come out and say it. I don't know if I like this movie very much. I wanted to because it's a Wes Anderson movie. I don't know how much I really love this movie.
I'm glad you said that, because I'm in the same boat.
It's not Darjeeling Limited, where you're watching and you're just like, this feels like I'm wasting my time. But in the au revoir of Wes Anderson, this is much closer to a Steve Zissou than it is to a Royal Tenenbaums.
We'll see.
Which isn't to say that Steve Zissou is bad.
But this is why I push back against the Steve Zissou comparison, because I was going to use that as an example also, to where this movie is a Wes Anderson movie with Wes Anderson characters that don't really stand out.
Yeah.
But you look at a movie like Life Aquatic or The Royal Tenenbaums or even Asteroid City, you have those quirky Wes Anderson characters, but they stand out.
Well,
these seem very like Wes Anderson characters.
This seems like it almost seems like a paint by numbers Wes Anderson piece.
Yes, that's just a better way of what I was trying to say.
Of just like, and this goes here because it's Wes Anderson,
yes.
And this goes here because it's Wes Anderson, and it never feels like something like Grand Budapest or Asteroid City, which we both liked but got middling reviews, or even French Dispatch, where it felt like there was a real momentum to the story driving it forward. The momentum here is driven by the Phoenician Scheme. And by the end of the Phoenician Scheme, the most interesting thing about it as a scheme is how it's all laid out in boxes.
Yeah.
That was the most interesting aspect of it. By the end of it, I was just like, what was the fucking point of all of this?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point, but as me and Kelly have both agreed, this is very close to a Christopher Nolan movie in that it almost demands a second watch. And like a bad Christopher Nolan movie, you really don't want to give it that second watch.
No,
like,
I agree with you.
You almost have to in order to understand what anything truly means. And yet, I can't imagine sitting down and rewatching this. If it gets into my pantheon, it would only be as a collector's item to be like, I have all of the Wes Anderson movies. But I don't have Bottle Rock and I don't have Darjeeling Limited, and I probably won't have Phoenician Scheme because it's fine. It's a perfectly fine C+.
Yes.
And a C+ Wes Anderson is still like a B- anybody else. But
it's a safe Wes Anderson film that we've seen before.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
But without some of the Wes Andersonisms that you need. You know, the father-child dynamic would have served the movie better if it was closer to Rushmore than it is to what it ended up being. Which isn't to say that it's bad. Mia Trepelton is...
She's great.
She's really good.
That's his daughter.
She's a standout element of the entire story. Yes. She is this nun in training who is summoned back to Zsa Zsa's side to be the executor of his estate because he's starting to realize that one of these assassination attempts is going to work.
Which we find out have been enacted by his brother.
Yes.
A very interestingly bearded...
very interesting costumed
Benedict
Cumberbatch. And another character where I got to the end of his storyline and I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't get the costume.
I didn't get a lot of it.
It was like, we want to make him visually quirky.
Yeah.
But in a weird, like, Rasputin type of way.
Yeah.
And like, I wasn't overly...
There were so many elements of this movie that I just felt like I cannot possibly grapple with all of it.
Yes.
I think the Michael Cera aspect of it is very key to this. It's like how for so long people have been like, oh, Michael Cera should be in Wes Anderson movies. They're a perfect match. Their puzzle pieces fit together perfectly. And so now we have Michael Cera in a Wes Anderson movie, and it's kind of nothing.
Yeah.
It kind of amounts to almost nothing.
Yeah.
To the point where the character does a full 360 halfway through the movie. And you're still left being like, this means nothing to me.
Yeah.
I know less about this character now, and I don't understand anything about them, and they're really integral to what's going on, and I just can't be bothered to care.
The only thing I liked about the 360 is when he did the 360 like change, the way they had him standing with the coat over it and like the cigarette. I thought like the first time I saw that, I thought, oh, okay, that's pretty funny. But then after that, I was like...
After that initial moment, you're like, okay, and
really
what does this mean?
Yeah.
Nothing. It means as much to Bjorn Carlson, the first version, as it does to the second one.
And like their dream sequences in heaven...
I like the dream sequences in heaven a lot. That was the one moment in the movie where I was like, okay, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing what I wanted out of this movie. So as Zsa Zsa goes through all these assassination attempts, he keeps on going back to heaven and kind of reviewing his life, as it were.
Yes.
And in heaven, you have a lot of the Wes Anderson big swingers.
You have...
including
Bill Murray as God. Which is awesome.
Which is like, I saw that and I was like, I want to watch this whole movie with Bill Murray as God. Like, it would mean more to me if this movie was... if it began with Zsa Zsa dying and then God showing him all the things that led up to his death. That would mean more than what we end up getting.
But see, I agree with you where I like the scenes in heaven. The part that I didn't like about them is that, to me, they didn't fit in the movie.
They felt like they were from a different movie to the point where...
Absolutely.
I, at times, wondered if these weren't offcuts from The French Dispatch. Because Benicio del Toro looked like he did in The French Dispatch.
Yes, he did.
And that was a black and white movie.
Yes.
And so I kind of wondered, are these part of something else?
Interesting.
And they've been kind of cobbled into this other thing. It was like, we had this and it didn't fit in the Dispatch, but I like it so much that I'm going to make another thing and we're going to put it in that thing.
Interesting. I never thought that.
Again, I really like those sequences. Yeah. I like F. Murray Abraham at the gates of heaven.
Oh, yeah.
And Willem Dafoe being like this weirdo. I really love that. And when Bill Murray shows up as God, I was like, why hasn't Bill Murray played God before? Yeah. This is what he should be doing.
And honestly, in the Wes Anderson universe, he is God.
He should be God.
Yeah.
And so like those were the moments that lit me up inside.
Yeah.
And then you would just go back to something else. Yeah. And you're just kind of left being like, I don't get it. I want to get it. And you're a genius, and I want to sit here and say you're a genius. But if I'm honest, the only reason I would say that is because of previous work, not this work. I wouldn't say it about this piece.
It's just there were a lot of bits and pieces of this movie that seemed like they were taken from other Wes Anderson movies and just not done as well.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the part that I was a little like...
Yeah, like there are definitely Wes Anderson elements. The 13 boys that Zsa Zsa has bore but rejected.
Yes.
and the one that fires flaming arrows at things. I was like, okay, this is Wes Anderson. This is very Wes Anderson lunacy.
That scene reminded me a lot of the Royal Tenenbaums.
I love the scene with Riz Ahmed, Tom Hanks, and Bryan Cranston. I fucking
awesome.
love that scene. When that scene devolves into a basketball match of horse, I was like, this is fucking great. This is everything we want. And so I love that moment. But then you get into Richard Ayoade as a revolutionary and Scarlett Johansson as a beatnik. And you're just kind of left being like...
Doesn't she play his cousin?
They refer to her as his cousin, but they're not related because they do get married.
Yes.
And so it's like they're cousins in everything but blood, but they get married almost as a political appointment kind of thing. Like it's advantageous for both of them to be married to each other.
Like that whole scenario.
And Scarlett Johansson has like this compound that she's trying to keep out of government hands. And none of this matters because we are gone as soon as we get there.
Yeah.
Like I thought I slept through that scene and had to rewind because I fell asleep twice during this movie. Another thing that I wish I couldn't say, but I have to admit.
That's always the worst thing.
And so I thought like, oh, I must have missed something with Scarlett Johansson. I rewind. No, there's just not anything there.
Yeah.
They show up at her compound. Zsa Zsa is like, we should get married. And Scarlett Johansson is like, I guess so. And then that's it. And they leave. She says, I won't help you pay for anything. And then he has to go.
Yeah.
That's like this whole movie is about Zsa Zsa and his daughter going around and trying to raise funds for the Phoenician Scheme. And so they keep on going around trying to find people to give them money, and someone has to cover the gap. And the gap is the amount of money that's left over that hasn't been funded yet. And the gap keeps getting bigger, and we're going to pawn this gap off on Uncle Newbar, who is Benedict Cumberbatch's character. And so you're just meeting these people that Zsa Zsa is trying to get money from, and some of them are great. That's why we meet Riz Ahmed. That's why we meet Tom Hanks and Bryan Cranston. That scene is, to me, it's fucking hilarious.
When that first, you see Tom Hanks, and then you see a guy behind him handing him papers, and it's like, is that Bryan fucking Cranston? Yeah. And it's like, holy shit.
Well, and then they have this argument, and I love when it devolves into arguments. I was talking to my dad recently about Andor, and he was trying to parse the scene with the TIE fighter, and how, like, he came to the same conclusion we did, which is that this is a chance to see what happens when a revolution doesn't have a distinct leader. And I was like, well, yeah, but we saw that in the first season, so I don't know what it matters in Andor season 2. And plus, the arguing is really annoying. The arguing here is hilarious.
Oh, it's so fucking
and
funny.
It serves a purpose. And every time it happens, it's fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's fucking funny to watch the, Zsa Zsa and X person shouting over each other about who's going to cover what. And the idea that this would be solved by a game of basketball like we did last time. And when Bryan Cranston comes out and he's wearing the Stanford shirt and the goggles, the safety goggles, I'm like, this is fucking great. Yeah. I love this. And then like they call each shot and it's like pretty much just like they throw it up and it goes in. And this scene is great.
And that's the problem with this movie, is it did have a lot of great scenes. Like, I'll be honest, my favorite part of the movie was that end scene where he's running the cafe with his daughter.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome. But why did we have all this other
What was all the other bullshit in between?
And it is one of those weird movies that it's typically the glue that lets the movie down. Here, the glue is the best part.
Yeah.
It's the pieces that didn't really fit.
Well, and they're also like, I'm just thinking about this now, but I'm trying to think in terms of a Wes Anderson movie of an equivalent. And I go back to Grand Budapest because I think it's, of his most recent films, his best.
Oh,
I would still argue,
my favorite of all of us.
I would still argue probably Royal Tenenbaums is his best film, but I think Grand Budapest is, if it's not his best film, it's right up there. That movie has an undercurrent of sadness throughout the entire thing. We meet characters, and F. Murray Abraham is like, oh yeah, I loved my wife. She died with my son from the fever, and we meet Ray Fiennes' character, and like, we find out all these things about him, and by the end of the movie, we find out how he dies. And you never get there with any of these characters. There never seems to be this Paul, this moment of, in death, we can reflect on what happens. And instead, we're just always running from death.
Yeah.
And so
there's never a chance for any of the characters to really gel or understand. Even when moments happen, like when Liesel, the nun, is told by Hope Davis, of all people, Mother Superior, that she is too much of a rich girl to be a nun.
Yeah.
I was like, first off, I don't see that in her characteristics. The things that you're citing are all gifts that she's gotten in the last 48 hours. And two, it doesn't make sense within the body of the character.
Yeah.
It feels like this should mean more. This is a minor death to this character, and it doesn't seem like it means anything. When Bjorn is shown to be a double agent, it doesn't mean anything.
No.
And then when Bjorn becomes a triple agent, it also doesn't mean anything. Bjorn takes Zsa Zsa to the room with the people that have been fucking with his life, and nothing happens. And you're just kind of like, there must be something here, but I don't get it. Like, that's the benefit of the doubt of the artist, is like, Wes Anderson is such a talented filmmaker that I have to assume there's something here, and I'm just not getting it. But I could easily see someone without that reverence just being like, no, it's just a bad movie. He just made a bad movie. He's human like anybody else, and he made a bad movie.
It's the problem with an auteur like him.
Yeah.
That there's going to be times that he's going to get into his own head and into his own ego, and he's going to make something that, let's call this the Tenant.
Yeah.
It's like...
That was exactly what I was thinking of.
It's in like, that same ball where it's like, okay, it's you're throwing all of your quirkiness together and trying to make it all fit, and it's just not fitting.
In the same way, when I say a bad Christopher Nolan movie that you have to watch twice, that is Tenet. That's a non-veiled reference to Tenet. Yes. It's a bad movie that in order to get anything out of you have to sit through it twice. But why in God's name would you sit through it twice? Yeah. And I agree. It is the closest comparison to this of just like, the elements are there. The feeling is there.
Some of the scenes are there.
Some of the scenes are there. The aspect ratio is right. The opening credits are really good, where it's just his bathroom and all the people coming in and out in his hospital bathroom and all. There's some really good stuff here. The scene where he finally invites the boys down because Liesel insists that he bond with his children, and there's a corner leaking, and one of the kids is like, "I thought you were rich," and he, flags down the butler and he's like, "Go get that fixed." And it's like, this is what we want. This is what we want, but we don't get a consistency. And I go back to characters like Richard Ayoade, like Benedict Cumberbatch, like Scarlett Johansson, where they're introduced. I love Jeffrey Wright. What the fuck was Jeffrey Wright's purpose in this movie? He's not playing a Jeffrey Wright character.
No.
He's not doing a Jeffrey Wright thing.
No.
He's not doing a Wes Anderson thing. He's kind of doing like this too cool for school thing. But the entire time you're just like, I don't get this. This seems like what an American is to a European. This is like what an American would be. I don't get it. I don't understand. And again, by the end of the movie, you don't even understand what the Phoenician Scheme is. It's revealed to be a dam, but to what end? What does it serve? What does it do?
Well, that's the thing, is that the purpose of it changes throughout the movie to where at the end it's almost like a humanitarian thing.
Yeah.
You're right, though. It jumps to that final scene without really going into too much detail. It's almost like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, where it's like, we have this thing we're going to tell you about, but we're not going to really tell you what it is.
Yeah, the scheme is 100% a MacGuffin in this movie, but it's a MacGuffin, and like, a MacGuffin has to be given a great deal of importance without being important to the plot. But if you look at the film in North by Northwest, or I'm trying to think of what it is in Rear Window that they find in the man's apartment, and they have to keep going back for. They find like his wife's dress or something. Like that, Those are elements that build you to this end spot, right? So like, even though Cary Grant running after the film in North by Northwest isn't like important, it's more just a thing to drive him to do certain things. It doesn't feel like a mystery in that sense. It feels like a destination. Here, this didn't feel like a destination. This felt like a goal.
Okay.
And I don't know if a goal can be a MacGuffin, because inherently a MacGuffin can't mean anything to the plot. It is something of desire that the character will do anything for, but it can never be achieved. And to me, that sparks more of, I can see how that could be a goal, but I think if you make it a non-tangible thing, then it does become kind of a disappointment to the audience, or at least has the possibility of becoming a disappointment to the audience, because I didn't dislike that scene at the end of the movie where they open up a restaurant after everything goes up in smoke. But I also kind of felt like if this was where we were going, we should have gotten here in a better way.
Yeah.
There should have been a better way to get here than this, especially since I don't understand why he lost all of his money on this thing. What was it for? What happened to all the other investors? If this was so important to all these other people, why did it fall through? Mm-hmm. You know, you talk about a hydroelectrical dam, and we meet like this Middle Eastern prince and his family and all these investors. The Tom Hanks and Bryan Cranston are like these two Vanderbilt train guys who are building this railroad. And you're ultimately like, so if everybody's so into this and so desirous of it and of it happening, why does it seem like nobody cares when it falls through?
Yeah.
It seems like Riz Ahmed, who is great in the movie, should care a lot about this not running through. Mm-hmm. It seems like him and his people would be the lead beneficiaries of it. Scarlett Johansson should care about this because it seems like she was going to benefit by having this power station nearby. And none of it matters. Yeah. You know, Richard Ayoade has this funny thing where he does violent things, and then he says that, you know, we're taking this money in name of the people or whatever. And you know, it's fine, but you're ultimately, when he shows up again in the second half of the movie, you're like, but why? But why are you here? Yeah. What do you mean to anything? Why are you on the plane? What's happening? Yeah. And ultimately, none of it matters. And if you care about any of that stuff, if you want these threads to come together, it needs to matter. You know, it'd be like if Ralph Fiennes gets locked up in prison and then kind of gets out accidentally. Yeah. And you're just like, but what was the point of that? We had to go through all the things of Saoirse Ronan making the cakes and the box being delivered and Harvey Keitel and the other prisoners and all these other things. And because we go through all those things, once he gets out, it means more to us. You don't get that here.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I'm glad you keep bringing up Grand Budapest Hotel, because the Benicio del Toro character reminded me a lot of the Ralph Fiennes character, but the Ralph Fiennes character had more depth and heart. And more heart, and I connected more. I never truly connected with Benicio del Toro's character until that final scene, and even then, he never really changed his tone or tenor. It just put him in a different environment, which was nice to see.
It almost felt like he was resigned to whatever his life was going to be. And so the scheme was him trying to guide his life in some way, but he also had this resignation that it was never going to happen. Yeah. And like, again, Grand Budapest, we meet Ralph Fiennes' character, and we find out that he sleeps with these older women and schmoozes them and all these other things, and he busts Tilda Swinton out the door, and he goes through and like in this quiet moment, he's talking about how she's this great woman and wonderful in bed, and what was she worried about? And she was shaking like a shitting dog. And it's this devolving of this character where like you see the way that he presents himself, but by the end of that series of statements, you also see what he's really thinking about. Yep. Not the sugar-coated version that he presents to everybody, but the actuality. And again, you don't get that here.
No, not at all. So, yeah, I think I'm going to agree with your scoring-wise. I might put it as a C. I
have it like a C-. I want it to be good,
but enough of some of the scenes that we talked about that I will leave it at... I can't drop it down much lower.
Yeah, like, I don't want to drop a Wes Anderson piece of any kind under a C. Like, I just don't. I don't want to. Like you said,
even a bad Wes Anderson movie is better than a good Marvel movie. You know what I mean? So it's like...
Going back to our lampooning of W.S. Anderson, a Wes Anderson movie has about 10 score points just out of the gate.
Yeah, just out of the gate.
On a W.S.
Bill
Anderson
Murray
movie.
is God right there.
Exactly. So, like, you don't want to sit here and be like, yes, Resident Evil and the Phoenician Scheme. Same score. Yeah. You don't.
So, pretty much what it boils down to, folks, is if you're trying to get into Wes Anderson movies,
don't start here.
Probably isn't the one to start with.
Don't start here.
Yeah, start with the Royal Tenenbaums, or even start at the beginning with Rushmore.
I would say start with Rushmore. Yeah. You can start at the very beginning with Bottle Rocket. I think you can skip Bottle Rocket.
Yeah, I think that one would be a good coming back to later.
You come back and you're like, wow, this is where he started. He didn't even have his perfect right angles or anything. So start with Rushmore. That's where it really begins.
If you've never seen it, you have to see Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite by far.
I think French Dispatch gets a short shrift. I also think Asteroid City got a short shrift.
Oh,
so like,
hugely, yeah.
I think those are both great movies. But like, it's Royal Tenenbaums, it's Grand Budapest, it's Rushmore. Those are the 3 Wes Anderson movies that you have to see.
You have to see, and the Fantastic Mr. Fox.
And the Fantastic. How could I forget about Fantastic Mr. Fox?
All right, folks. So we hope you enjoyed that. That was NerdPod Generations episode 168, and we are looking forward to coming back next week for 169, which we're talking about making a big TV show.
It's a TV day. So we got 2 beings that struggle to communicate with humans that are desperately in need to communicate with humans.
It's a nice little theme there.
The Sandman and the Murderbot.
And the Murderbot. So hopefully we'll be able to get to everything in the next week's show, because I know we've been pushing Murderbot.
Yeah,
Murderbot is like our James Bond.
Yeah.
We've been pushing it down.
It just keeps, every year we have one. We're like, oh, we'll do this. And then we start prepping for it. And this is how it always happens. We get to like the May-June era, and we're like, oh, we kind of ran out of things to talk about. Let's start prepping something out for future shows. Yes. And so we pick a thing, and we're like, we're going to do this. This is what we're going to do for future shows. And then something always fucking comes up. Yeah. We always are like, oh, summer's going to be slow. There's not going to be anything. And then something always fucking comes up.
Well, and last week we were going to talk the Phoenician Scheme last week, but then we had
the craziest thing happened
at the beginning, and then there you go.
The craziest thing happened. No, Thunderbolts is going to drop this week, and we're going to be like, Murderbot, back to the line. I don't know if it is. I'll be honest,
I thought that same thing. It'll drop on Disney Plus, and we'll be like, well, shit.
Now we have to, and then we're going to have to see Fantastic Four, because the drips on the spoiler leak for Fantastic Four are worse than most of the ones I've seen. Most of the Marvel movies recently, the leaking spoilers aren't too bad, but this one is like, oh, there's a crack in the ceiling, and if we're not careful, it's gonna fall in.
But quite honestly, I just don't give a shit.
I don't want to give a shit. It would be an enormous lie for me to say that I don't give a shit, because I do, and I don't want to, and I really don't want to. But God help me,
you have to.
I can't help it.
Hey, and you know what we're getting close to? NFL preview show.
I know, it's right around the corner.
That is very fucking close.
I already have my pick for the season.
Oh, I haven't even...
Admittedly,
I'm starting to go through things, but
admittedly, it's not hard, because it's been my my sentimental choice for the last few years.
Yes.
Because for a long time there, when you said my pick for the Super Bowl is the Detroit Lions versus the Buffalo Bills, it was a fucking joke. It was a fucking joke every year. I would say that's my Super Bowl pick, because that's who I want to play.
Yeah.
And for the first time in a long time, well, no, for the second time in a long time.
Hey, it'll happen if both teams can get out of their own way.
And if the refs go away, that was another thing that I didn't get to talk about. I was going to talk about NFL collusion and corruption today.
We'll have to put that all in.
All for another time.
Let's set it in stone in like 3 weeks. We'll do our NFL preview show.
By then, there will be even more news on the NFL corruption scandal.
And maybe
because it's literally like every 2 weeks more stuff comes out.
And we might even see Micah Parsons on a different team.
I don't hope so if he's not in the AFC, but if he's not, good for you, dude. Get out of there.
Seriously. All right, so NerdPod Generations 168 is in the books. Once again, if you want to know more about us, go to nerdpodgen.com. And Al, who does our music and artwork?
Anywhere but the AFC, Micah. Anywhere but the AFC. I hear that Los Angeles, California is just fucking great right about now. Or you could come to Buffalo. I'll give you 2 firsts for Micah. Yeah. I'll give you 2 firsts. No lie. No lie.
There with Bosa?
Yeah.
That'd be
right?
Pretty nice.
I'm not convinced on Joey Bosa, but we're going to see.
Hey.
We're going to see. That's a political thing. The politics is what's not convincing me on Joey Bosa.
I can see that.
And the injury history. Injury history is also concerned.
Yeah.
Our art is by Kortney Howell. Our music is by Brendan Williams and James Connolly.
The Hydra is always there, baby.
I am Alfred Judson.
And I'm Steve Taylor.
And until next week, friends and enemies, we'll try and get it together, but you and I both know we're not going to.
No goddamn promises.
Have a good week.